Hello, my name is Kinsey Church from the University of Ottawa, and this is a pre-recorded presentation for the 2020 International Conference on Cognitive Modeling. My study is about using a bidirectional associative memory and feature extraction to model the mechanism behind exploitation. In order to increase their chances of survival, many organisms have evolved various complex mechanisms to solve problems, make decisions, and learn about the environment around them. These mechanisms come with several different trade-offs, where increasing proficiency in one area may result in a lack of ability in another. One of these problems in cognition is the exploration-exploitation dilemma, where an organism must choose between exploring its environment to learn new things at the risk of wasting energy, and exploitation, where it uses its prior knowledge at the risk of missing a more optimal solution. Understanding exactly how animals and humans switch between these two processes and how each of them works is crucial to understanding how we adapt, learn, behave, and survive. An important factor is the environment in which an animal makes a decision. The present study looks at the exploitation half of the dilemma, using environmental context as a cue. Each behavior is learned separately and in different time series. In the framework of artificial neural networks, exploitation is observed when the network can iterate through many learned responses and stabilize on the correct one to solve a given task. More precisely, a bidirectional associative memory, or BAM, is used to accomplish such tasks where the context dictates which attractor the network should converge to. Here is the architecture and the learning rule. Behaviors were represented by a series of letters, and the context by numbers. Each pattern was a 7x7 black and white pixelated image. The first three series contained basic independent time series, 1, 2, and 3, respectively. Series 4 and 5 are a bit more complex, involving overlapping patterns C, D, E, and G, and Series 5 contains a full subtype of the patterns. Each pattern is learned associated with itself and in the context of the time series. For the exploitation to begin, the first pattern in the series, the context, is given to the BAM. This will recall the next pattern in the series, which is then compared to the correct response by the environment. If it does not match, the output is sent back to the BAM and recalls the next in the series. This continues until the correct pattern has been recalled. When this happens, the environment changes and sends back that pattern associated with itself, causing the BAM to stabilize on that correct response. This model was able to learn and recall the first three series, stabilizing on any desired pattern with perfect accuracy. However, when presented with more complex patterns, including overlap or subtype, the BAM fails. In order to solve these nonlinear problems, a different solution is needed. Previous works have shown that a feature extraction bidirectional associative memory, or FBAM, can be used in combination with the BAM in order to solve nonlinearly separable tasks. This extra unsupervised layer is used to extract features from the inputs and create a unique representation. This representation is then appended to the stimulus before being learned by the BAM. All series from Simulation 1 were used with the addition of one new series that includes a mix of all possible combinations of independent, overlapping, and subtype time series. It encompasses all possible combinations and arrangements of stimuli, giving real-world variability. As seen here, the model was able to learn and perfectly recall both time series 4 and 5 with no problems, which the BAM alone was not able to do. More importantly, it was able to correctly learn, exploit, and stabilize on any given pattern for the additional complex series. In conclusion, by using the BAM, we are able to model the exploitation phase of the exploration-exploitation dilemma, where the subject iterates through different learned responses and can stabilize on the correct response based on feedback from the environment. By adding a FBAM to generate a unique representation for each learned stimulus, we were able to model this with all of the complexity of a real-world setting, including different lengths of stimuli, different levels of correlation, and nonlinear problems. Being able to model exploitation is a crucial part of understanding our own cognition and how we learn from the dynamic world around us. This model could be expanded to include reinforcement, and the order of the time series could be based on the best possible answer for a given problem, with an additional BAM to store correct responses in function of the desired order. Temporal aspects should also be taken into consideration, allowing for the timing of when actions are accomplished, and easing the transition from numerical simulation to real-time neurorobotic implementation. Finally, this model could be added to a model of exploration to study the trade-off between the two. Thank you for listening.